We are Social Blade.
The last time that I thought something had a future, I gave it a shot, and that was MySpace. Um, and
Yeah.
we know what's happening with that one. But I have a feeling that Facebook might be heading in the same direction. I don't know. What do you think, Ergo?
That's kind of what the word on the street has been for a while now, especially with recent events here. But I mean, over the past several years. Okay, well, just general history. You know, Facebook started. I can't remember the year, but it was, I want to say, around like 2004, with it just being for schools, and then they opened the doors to the general public. And this was way before applications, anything like that. It was all very professional, standard layouts and everything. And sort of the reason people liked it so much over MySpace was when you go to MySpace, it looked like a GeoCities webpage where you could have all these backgrounds and music playing and all sorts of things like that. And it really looked childish, if you will. Now, now that's sort of a little bit of what's happening with Facebook here. You got all these applications running crazy. One of the big things is there's rogue applications now. If you've ever seen random posts on your wall, or if you've gotten emails, check out my pictures, and then when you click on the link, it brings you to a page that looks like a Facebook page, but it really is a phishing site where someone's trying to steal your username and password. So what those then do is they replicate and they send out messages to everyone else on your Facebook there. And then again, you got all these other applications still running and inviting you to join your mob, go hunt for zombies, broadcasting by default instead of making you opt in by default instead of opting out. So basically everything you do is public. That's one of the things originally Facebook wasn't doing, where you sort of had your own private world here, but like on MySpace, everything was public by default, and that's sort of what Facebook is doing here as well, to open up the world so everyone can see what all your updates are. And lastly, also, just the paradigm of friendship here. On Facebook, you kind of feel obligated, at least a little bit here, to just accept friendship from everyone that sends you a friend request. And, you know, in real life, you might not really be friends with all the people from your high school class or your elementary school class. But if you get a friend request on here, you feel a little obligated just to accept them there. And if you don't accept them, you could hurt someone's feelings or something like that. And that's sort of back to what happened on MySpace as well. So I don't know. And then lastly, also, I forgot about this one. Just professional life. It's now employers are going to your Facebook page before you get accepted, or even before you get an interview for a job, to see what you're doing on there, to see if you have all sorts of pictures of going out partying, or if you have just professional pictures there, just to get a feel of what type of employee you might be. So, I don't know. What do you guys think here?
I will reserve my statement on that to the very, very end. Unless
I will say...
Go ahead, Aaron.
I'm going to say Facebook will never be MySpace. And I know that probably sounds naive, because at the time when MySpace was popular, people would be like, this is never going to fail. But I don't think Facebook will allow as much control to the user as MySpace has. I don't think that's ever going to happen. In fact, they've even tried to derail some of the current controls that users have. So I think that it's never going to be a MySpace issue.
Yeah, and I think Facebook is too intertwined with what else is going on in the web. I mean, they've done a pretty good job of making sure, when you have an article, you either Facebook share it, or you tweet it, or you dig it. And they're just, I think it's just too intertwined now.
Wow.
To me, I think for Facebook to just become the next MySpace, I think it's going to take an awful lot for their user base to go down and for people to leave and all this stuff. Like Jeff said, I mean, Facebook is pretty much everywhere. I forget how many thousands and thousands of sites are using Facebook plugins and the new like buttons and all that stuff. And so yeah, it'll be a while for anything serious to happen, if anything will.
Yeah, I think the only thing that could possibly derail Facebook or um, force Facebook to change is, with Twitter getting more popular and certain social platforms that are more fast-paced and more conversational, um, such as Twitter, I think it'll force Facebook probably in the future to have to change, because I think I kind of found myself using Twitter a lot recently, being quicker and more fast-paced on Facebook, and I kind of have to catch myself because Facebook is definitely a much slower platform.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I use Twitter like way more than Facebook, but I use Facebook too. But yeah, I got you.
Yeah, no, just one thing Pat mentioned in the room here. Colleges apparently are using Facebook as well to check on applicants.
Yeah, and what also was really interesting is I was able to integrate Facebook into our grading system at school. So I would have a Facebook app and be able to check all my grades at the university through Facebook. So universities are definitely
Really?
integrating it now too. Yeah.
Huh. It's crazy. JD, so what are your thoughts?
So I'd written an article that said that Facebook is going to get bigger than MySpace. It will surpass it by far, and it will slowly but surely start to erode its privacy, the strengths, the things that make it to where it's a little bit more of a closed network. They're going to erase those privacy concerns, because from a business perspective, it makes sense to be more open, to have as many pages as possible indexed by search engines, to have it to where people are going to be much more open with their information by default, and to where they'd have to actually make an effort to change this, to change to where they're more private. And I was laughed at and ridiculed. Keep in mind that I wrote this article back in 2008, early 2008, and I was laughed at and ridiculed. Later that year, I said, a few months later, I said Twitter is going to emerge. Back then, Twitter was one of them. There was a Pounce. There were Jaiku or Haiku or however you pronounce it. Blah blah blah. I said that. I wrote my analysis about that. I said that Twitter was going to be emerge as the winner, because what it does is a lot less than what the others do, and that's what's so beautiful and brilliant about it. All of that is just going to precede what I'm about to say, because it's going to be pretty crazy, and all four of you are probably going to pounce on me. Ergo's got his finger on the kick his butt out of the room button right now. He's going to throw me out because I'm about to say something that's radical. Facebook will, in my opinion, become like MySpace within the next 6 months. And by becoming like MySpace, hear me out, Facebook will open up its customization aspects on pages, not necessarily on profiles like MySpace did, but on pages, because their goal is not, they've got these wonderful, brilliant, just pie in the sky dreams and ambitions. In Facebook's plan, and in Zuck's mind, Mark Zuckerberg's brilliant yet somehow just kind of off kilter by a few centimeters mind, they envision Facebook being the source for all business. In other words, you don't need a website, Mr. Mid-sized company, Mr. Small Business owner. You just need a professional, corporate, customized Facebook page. The whole idea of Facebook fans, that they took away the fan page. That's the beginning, so to speak. Okay, you don't fan. There's no such thing as, people don't go out in the real world and say, I'm a big fan of Bob's Barbershop. They say, where do you go? Oh, I like going to Bob's Barbershop. That's where I like to go. I like to go to Bob's. And there's no fan pages. It's just your page. You can have a business page. You can have a consumer page. Blah 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 blah. All these different things. Point being is that markets today on June 17th, 2010, I'm saying that within 6 months, Facebook will have customization on par with what MySpace had allowed back in 2006, 2007. And it's for a business reason, and it will be both the launch into the stratosphere of Facebook and the potential crash and burn by 2012 of the Facebook. And what now? I have no idea which way that's going to go. It could be great, could be awful. Who knows? I mean, I think I know, but I'm not gonna bust that out.
Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.